In English-speaking media, Russians are often portrayed as evil, menacing, or obscure. While this podcast doesn't approve of violence or hate of any kind, it is a tool for those who aim to create evil, menacing, or obscure content. You want to add Russian lore to your story? Go for it. Just make it legitimate. We're here to help you with that. You are listening to "U is a Letter", Dark Russian Folklore Podcast. Bonus tale number 6. The only thing a gambler needs.
As it is past Midsummer, it is time for us to reappear in your feeds with new old tales to tell. Some of the audience might be familiar with this specific one. The tale The Soldier and Death was adapted for television as one of the episodes of Jim Henson's The StoryTeller, with some minor corrections that made it easier for consumption. Since we are giving you the original, unabridged version translated into English in 1916, we absolutely must mention some of the details one might not be prepared for.
First of all, the 25 years of military service are a historical fact. In 1736, it was the amount of years a son of a noble family had to serve in the army. For peasants, being a soldier used to basically be a life sentence. Don't be fooled by the green wine that suddenly transforms into vodka, for that is another historically accurate item. Names like green wine, bread wine, and vodka all described a kind of high-proof moonshine fermented from grain in the period from 17th to 19th century. The oddly specific toponym used in the tale describes a real place. There actually is a vast woodland in the Bryansk region, and there is even a nature reserve that is officially called the Bryansky Wood. Back in the day, this used to be an umbrella term for a vast, dangerous, and unexplored woodland. Mentioning an aspen there could be a deliberate note to Christianity, for it is called Judas's tree in some tales, and is involved in multiple superstitions.
A person addressing someone their junior as father is also not a mistake, but is instead traditional. In spoken Russian, it is still common to address strangers one respects this way. One of the oddest things you are going to come across in this tale is the bright world or the white world. In Russian, world and light can be synonymous. Russian words for the world can be either mir, which is also the absence of war, or svet, which is also the absence of darkness. The latter is often described as white or bright, which can be confusing without context.
Our narrator for today is Mark Nixon, the award-winning director and creator of the Shadows at the Door podcast, who actually chose this story to tell out of his own free will.
The Soldier and Death. Once upon a time there was a soldier who had served God and the great sovereign for 25 whole years, and had only in the end earned 3 biscuits, and was journeying back home. And as he went along he thought, "Lord, here am I have served my Tsar for 25 years, have received my food and dress, and what have I lived for after all? I am cold and hungry, and only have 3 biscuits left to eat." So he pondered and thought, and decided to desert, and run away whither his eyes might lead him. As he went along, he met a poor beggar, who asked alms of him. The soldier gave him 1 biscuit, and kept 2, and as he trudged on, he soon came across another poor beggar, who bowed down low and asked for alms. So the soldier gave him another biscuit, and had only 1 left. Again on he went, and met a 3rd beggar. The old fellow bowed low and asked for alms. The soldier got his last biscuit out and thought, "If I give him the whole, I shall have none left. If I give him half, why, this old man will come across brother beggars, and will see they have a whole biscuit, and be offended. Better let him have it all, and I shall get on somehow." So he gave his last biscuit, and had nothing left. Then the old man asked him, "Tell me, good man, "What do you wish? Of what have you need? I will help you." "God bless you," the soldier answered. "How should I take anything of you? You are old and poor." "Don't think of my poverty," he replied. "Just say what you would like, and I will requite you according to your own goodness." "I want nothing, but if you have any cards, give me some as a keepsake." For the old man was Christ himself, walking on earth in beggar's guise. The old man put his hand into his breast and drew out a pack of cards, saying, "Take them. With whomsoever you play, you will win the game. And here you have a nosebag. Whatever you meet on the way, whether wild beast or bird that you would like to catch, just say to it, 'Jump in here, beast or bird,' and your wish will be carried out." "Thank you," said the soldier, took the cards and the nosebag, and fared forth. He went on and on, maybe far, maybe near, maybe short, maybe long, and arrived at a lake, on which 3 wild geese were swimming. Then the soldier suddenly remembered the nosebag and thought, "I'll just test this nosebag," took it out, opened it, and said, "Ah, you wild geese! Fly into my nosebag!" No sooner uttered than the geese flew straight up from the lake and into the bag. The soldier grabbed the bag, tied it up, and went on his way. He travelled on and came to a town. He entered an eating house and told the innkeeper, "Take this goose and cook it for my supper, and I will give you another goose for your pains. Change me this 3rd one for vodka." So there the soldier sat like a lord in the inn, at his ease, drinking wine and feasting on roast goose. It occurred to him suddenly he might peer out of the window, and he saw opposite big palace, but not one pane of glass was whole. "What is this?" he asked the innkeeper. "What is this palace? Why does it stand empty?" "Why, don't you know?" the master replied. "Our Tsar built himself this palace, but cannot inhabit it, and for 7 years it has been standing empty. Some unholy power drives everyone out of the place. Every night an assemblage of devils meets there, make a row, dance, play cards, and perpetrate every sort of vileness." So off the soldier went to the Tsar. "Your Imperial Majesty," quoth he, "please let me spend 1 night in your empty palace." "What do you mean, fellow?" asked the Tsar. "God bless you, but there have been some daredevils like you who have passed a night in this palace, and no one emerged alive." "Well, still, a Russian soldier cannot drown in water or burn in fire. I served God and the great sovereign 25 years and never died of it. And for 1 night's service for you, I am to die? No." "But I tell you, a man enters the palace at night alive, and only his bones are found there in the morning." But the soldier stood firm. He must be admitted into the palace. "Well," said the Tsar, "go, and God help you. Stay the night there if you will. You are free, and I won't hinder you." So the soldier marched into the palace and settled himself down in the biggest saloon, took his knapsack off and his sabre, put the knapsack in a corner and the sabre on a hand peg, sat down in a chair, put his hand into his pocket for his tobacco pouch, lit his pipe, and smoked at his ease. Then, about midnight, I don't know where from, hordes of devils, seen and unseen, scurried up and made such a turmoil and row and set up dance with wild music. "What, you here, discharged soldier?" all the devils began yelling. "Welcome! Will you play cards with us?" "Certainly. Here, I have a set ready." "Let's start." He took them out and dealt round. They began, played a game out, and the soldier won. Another, and the same luck. And all the finessing of the devils availed them nothing. The soldier won all the money and raked it all together. "Stop, soldier," the devil said. "We still have 60 ounces of silver and 40 of gold. We'll stake them on the last game." and they sent a little devil boy to fetch the silver. So a new game commenced, and then the little devil boy had to pry in every nook and come back and tell the old devil, "It's no use, grandfather. We have no more." "Off you go, find some gold." And the urchin went and hunted up gold from everywhere, turned an entire mine inside out, and still found nothing. The soldier had played everything away. The devils got angry at losing all their money and began to assault the soldier, roaring out, "Smash him up, brothers! Eat him up!" "We'll see who will have the last word when it comes to eating," said the soldier, shook the nosebag open and asked, "What is this?" "A nosebag," said the devils. "Well, in you all go, by God's own spell." And he collected them all together, so many you couldn't count them all. Then the soldier buckled the bag tightly, hung it on a peg, and lay down to sleep. In the morning, the Tsar sent for all his folks. "Come up to me and inform me, how does it stand with the soldier? If the unholy powers have destroyed him, bring me his little bones." So off they went and entered the palace, and there saw the soldier trudging up and down gaily in the rooms and smoking his pipe. "Well, how are you, discharged soldier? We never expected to see you again alive. How did you pass the night? What kind of bargain did you make with the devils?" "What devils? Just come and look at what gold and silver I won off them. Look, what piles of it." And the Tsar's servants looked and were amazed. And the soldier told them, "Bring me 2 smiths as fast as you can. Tell them to bring an iron anvil and a hammer." Off they went helter-skelter to the smiths, and the matter was soon arranged. The smiths arrived with iron and anvil and heavy hammers. "Now," said the soldier, "take this nosebag and beat it hard, after the ancient manner of smiths." So the smiths took the nosebag, and they began to whisper to each other, "How fearfully heavy it is! The devils must be in it." The devil shrieked out and said, "Yes, we are there! Father, yes, we are there! Kingsman, help us!" So the smiths instantly laid the nosebag of the iron anvil, and they began to knock it about with their hammers, as though they were hammering iron. Very soon, the devils saw that they could not possibly stand such treatment, and they began to shriek, "Mercy on us! Mercy on us! Let us out! Discharge soldier into the free world! Unto all eternity we will never forget you, and into this place never a devil shall enter again. We will forbid everybody, all of them, and drive them all 100 versts away." So the soldier bade the smiths to stop, and as soon as he unbuckled the nosebag, the devils rushed out and flew off without looking, into the depths of hell, into the abysses of hell. But the soldier was no fool, and as they were flying out, he laid hold of one old devil, laid hold of him tight by his paw. "Come along," he said, "give me some written undertaking that you will always serve me faithfully." The unholy spirit wrote him out this undertaking in his own blood, gave it him, and took to his heels. All the devils ran away into the burning pit, and got away as fast as they could with all their infernal strength, both the old ones and the young ones, and henceforth they established guards all round the burning pit, and issued stern ordinances that the gates be constantly guarded, in order that the soldier and the nosebag might never draw near. The soldier came to the Tsar, and he told him some kind of tale, how he had delivered the palace from the infernal visitation. "Thank you," the Tsar answered. "Stay here and live with me. I will treat you as if you were my brother." So the soldier went and stayed with the Tsar, and had sufficiency in all things, simply rolled in riches, and he thought it was time he should marry. So he married, and 1 year later God gave him a son. Then his boy fell into such a fearful illness, so terrible that there was nobody who could cure it, and it was beyond the skills of the physicians. There was no understanding of it. The soldier then thought of the old devil and the undertaking he had given him, and how it had run in the undertaking. "I shall serve you eternally as a faithful servant." And he thought and said, "What is my old devil doing?" Suddenly, this same old devil appeared in front of him and asked, "What does your worship desire?" And the soldier answered, "My little boy is very ill. Do you know how to cure him?" So the devil fumbled in his pocket, got out a glass, poured cold water into it and put it over the head of the sick child, and told the soldier, "Come here, look into the water." And the soldier looked at the water, and the devil asked him, "Well, what do you see?" "I see death, standing at my son's feet." "Well, he is standing at his feet, then he will survive. If death stands at his head, then he cannot live another day." So the devil took the glass with the water in it and poured it over the soldier's son, and in that same minute the son became well. "Give me this glass," the soldier said, "and I shall never trouble you for anything more." And the devil presented him with the glass, and the soldier returned him the undertaking. Then the soldier became an enchanter, and set about curing the boyars and the generals. He would go and look at the glass, and instantly he knew who had to die and who should recover. Now the Tsar himself became ill, and the soldier was called in. So he poured cold water into the glass, put it at the Tsar's head, and saw that death was standing at the Tsar's head. The soldier said, "Your Imperial Majesty, there is nobody in the world who can cure you. Death is standing at your head, and you have only 3 hours left of life." When the Tsar heard this speech, he was furious with the soldier. What? What?" he shrieked at him. "You, who have cured so many boyars and generals, cannot do anything for me. I shall instantly have you put to death." So the soldier thought and thought what he should do, and he began to beseech Death. "Oh, Death," he said, "give the Tsar my life, and take me instead, for it doesn't matter to me whether I live or die. For it is better to die by my own death than to suffer such a cruel punishment." And he looked in the glass, and saw that death was standing at the Tsar's feet. Then the soldier took the water and sprinkled the Tsar, and he recovered completely. "Now, Death," said the soldier, "give me only 3 hours interval, in order that I may go home and say farewell to my wife and my son." "Well, you may have 3 hours. Go," Death replied. So the soldier went away home, lay down on his bed, and became very ill. And when Death was standing very near him, she said, "Now, discharged soldier, say goodbye quickly. You have only 3 minutes left to live in the bright world." So the soldier stretched himself out, took his nosebag from under his bed, opened it, and asked, "What is this?" Death answered, "A nosebag." "Well, if it is a nosebag, then jump into it." And Death instantly jumped straight into the bag. And the soldier, ill as he was, jumped up from his bed, buckled the nosebag together firmly, very tightly, threw it on his shoulder, and went into the Bryansky woods, the slumberous forest. And he went there, and he hung this bag on the bitter aspen, on the very top twig, and he went back home. From that day forward, nobody died in the kingdom. They were born, and they kept on being born, and they never died. And very many years went by, and the soldier never took his nosebag down. One day, he happened to go into the town. He went, and on his way he met such an old lady, so old that on whichever side the wind blew, she inclined. "Oh, what an old lady," the soldier said. "Why, it is almost time she died." "Yes, father," the old dame replied. "The time has come and gone long since. At the time when you put death into the nosebag, I had only 1 hour left in which to live in the white world. I should be very glad to have some rest, but unless I die, earth will not take me up, and you, discharged soldier, are guilty of an unforgivable sin in God's eyes, for there is no single soul left on earth who is as tortured as I am." Then the soldier stayed and began to think. Yes, it would be better to let death out. Perhaps I too might die. And beyond this too, I have many sins on my conscience. Thus, it is better now, whilst I am still strong and I bear pain on this earth, For when I shall become very old, then it will be all the worse for me to suffer anything." So he got up, and he went to the Bryansky woods, and he went up to the aspen, and saw there the nosebag was hanging very high, shaking in the winds to all sides. "Oh, you, Death," he says, "are you still alive?" A faint voice came out from the nosebag. "Yes, Father, I am alive." So the soldier took the nosebag, opened it, and he let out Death. And he himself lay down on his bed, bade farewell to his wife and son, and he begged Death that he might die. And she ran outside the door with all the strength in her feet. "Go," she cried. "It is the devils who shall slay you. I shall not slay you." So the soldier remained alive and healthy, and he thought, "Should I go straight into the burning pitch? For then the devils will throw me into the seething sulphur, until which time as my sins will have been melted off from me." And he bade farewell from all, and he went with the knapsack in his hand straight into the burning pitch. And he went on, maybe near, maybe far, maybe downhill, maybe uphill, maybe short, maybe long. And he at last arrived in the abyss, and he looked, and all round the burning cauldron there stood watchmen. As soon as he stopped at the gate, a devil asked who was coming. "A guilty soul to be tortured." "Why do you come? What are you carrying with you?" "Oh, a nosebag." And the devil shrieked out his full throat and made a tremendous stir. All the infernal powers roused themselves and looked out of the gates and windows with their unbreakable bolts. And the soldier went all round the cauldron, and he called out to the master of the cauldron, "Let me in, please, do let me into the cauldron. I have come to you to be tortured for my sins." "No, I will not let you in. Go away wherever you will. There is no room for you here." "Well, if you will not let me in to be tortured, at least give me 200 souls. I will take them up to God, and perhaps the Lord will pardon my faults." And the master of the cauldron answered, "I will add 50 more souls to the lot. Only do go away." So he instantly ordered 250 souls to be counted out and to be taken to the rear gates in order that the soldier might not see him. So the soldier gathered up the guilty souls, and he went up to the gates of paradise. The apostle saw him, and said to the Lord, "Some soldier or other has come up here with 250 souls from hell. Take them into paradise, but do not let the soldier in." But the soldier had given up his nosebag to one guilty soul, and had told it, "Just look here. When you enter the gates of paradise, say at once, 'Soldier, jump into the nosebag.'" Then the gates of paradise opened, and the souls began to go in, and this guilty soul also went in, and for sheer joy forgot all about the soldier. Thus the soldier was left behind, and could not find any home in either place, and for long after that he still had to live and go on living in the white world. And after very many days, he died.
We saved the weirdest aspect of the tale for the final part of our commentary in order to avoid spoilers. Yes, the original version includes a beggar Jesus who gives a deck of playing cards to a nameless soldier because of course he does. Given the fact that playing cards are pretty much frowned upon by the church, this is especially juicy. Jesus here basically acts like a trickster, providing an award for kindness and never reappearing after that.
The parts of the story that describe anything connected to organized religion are a good example of the level of amalgamation of Eastern Orthodox Christianity and common beliefs in Russia. Technically, anyone can be bargained with. Hell, heaven, even death herself. But it comes with a price, and it can all go spectacularly wrong at any given moment.
This is a good place to point that Mark Nixon has just started his Kickstarter campaign for a musical episode of the horror audio drama Shadows at the Door, which promises to be infused with hip-hop, jazz, and ghosts. A link in show notes. This episode was researched, written, and recorded by Doc and Stacy, with proofreading and advice kindly provided by Saika and craux. Theme music for the podcast written and performed by Andrei Popov, with the rest of the sounds performed and edited by Doc. All the additional information on this podcast, including extra links, source material, and transcripts, is available on our website, link in show notes. U is a Letter is a non-profit project made to educate and entertain. If you find what we do useful, please consider donating to a charity of your choice. Thank you, and may no darkness engulf you without your consent.